Hey, kiddo. It's me, your old grandpa. I know this is strange, hearing my voice like this when I'm not there anymore. But I need you to listen. I need you to really listen. The doctors told me I have 6 months, maybe less. And I've spent my whole life running from the truth, hiding things I should have said, carrying weights I never put down. So I'm doing something I should have done a long time ago. I'm recording these messages, 365 of them, one for every day of the year after I'm gone. Because I want you to know me. The real me. Not the version I showed everyone. Not the grandfather who smiled at Sunday dinners and pretended everything was fine. I'm sitting here in my study right now. The same chair where I used to read you stories when you were small. Remember that? You'd climb into my lap with those big, curious eyes, and I'd make up adventures about pirates and dragons. But I never told you the real stories, the ones that mattered. The ones that broke me and made me. So here it is. Message 1. I want to start by telling you that I loved your grandmother more than anything in this world. You know that. Everyone knows that. What you don't know is that she wasn't my first love. There was someone before her. A girl named Catherine. We met when I was 23, right after the war. She had red hair that caught fire in the sunset, and a laugh that made you believe the world wasn't as cruel as it really was. I thought I'd marry her. I really did. But I made a choice. A stupid, cowardly choice that haunted me for 60 years.
I'm not going to rush through this. Over these messages, you'll hear everything. The good days and the terrible ones. The mistakes I made and the people I hurt. Some days I'll tell you about your grandmother, about how we built our life together. Other days I'll have to tell you things that might make you see me differently. That's what I'm afraid of, you know? That you'll listen to all of this and realize your grandfather wasn't the man you thought he was. But I'd rather you know the truth than die with another lie between us. Message 27. I think it's time I told you about the letters. When Catherine and I were together, we promised we'd write every single day if we were ever apart. It sounds silly now, but back then it meant everything. Then I got called away for work, 6 months in another city. And I did write, every day for 3 months. Then I met your grandmother at a company dinner. She was smart and kind, and she looked at me like I was someone worth knowing. And I stopped writing to Catherine. I just stopped. No explanation, no goodbye. I threw myself into this new thing with your grandmother because it felt easier, less complicated. Catherine deserved better than that. She deserved the truth. But I was 24 and selfish and convinced I could just start over and no one would get hurt. Your grandmother never knew about her. I never told her there was someone before. Another lie I carried. Message 58. Your grandmother is asleep in the next room. She doesn't know I'm recording these. She thinks I'm just going through old papers. And in a way I am. I found a box today, hidden in the back of the closet behind my old army coat. Letters from Catherine. 37 of them. She kept writing even after I stopped, asking if I was okay, wondering if something happened to me. Then the tone changed, hurt, angry, then just sad.
The last letter said she was getting married to someone else, someone who actually showed up. She said she hoped I was happy wherever I was, and she said she'd always wonder what she did wrong. What she did wrong. I never answered. Not once. And she spent years thinking she wasn't enough, when the truth was I wasn't man enough to face what I'd done. Message 94. I need to tell you about the phone call. It was 15 years ago. You were just a kid. Your grandmother and I were having lunch when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. It was Catherine. Her voice was older, but I recognized it immediately. She said she'd been diagnosed with cancer and was putting her affairs in order. She'd tracked me down because she needed to know one thing, just one thing after all these years. Did I ever love her? Or was she just something to pass the time? I froze. Your grandmother was sitting right there, looking at me, wondering who it was, and I told Catherine it was a wrong number. I hung up. I looked at your grandmother and said it was a telemarketer. Catherine died 4 months later. I found out from an old mutual friend. She never got her answer, and I never gave her the closure she deserved. That's the kind of man I was, the kind who chose comfort over courage every single time. If you like stories like this, then like and subscribe. Message 147. There's something else, something I've never told anyone. 6 months after Catherine died, I got a letter from a lawyer. It was her estate. She'd left me something in her will, a small box, and a note that said, "You should know." Inside the box was a photograph. A little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old, with red hair and my eyes. On the back it said, Emma, born April 1962. Do the math, kiddo. April 1962, 9 months after I left. I had a daughter I never knew about. Catherine raised her alone, never asked me for anything, never told me. And by the time I found out, Catherine was gone and Emma was a grown woman with her own life who had no idea I existed. I hired a private investigator, found out where Emma lived, watched her from a distance once. Just once. She looked happy, had kids of her own, a good husband, a normal life. And I made another choice. I decided not to tell her who I was, not to disrupt everything. I told myself it was for her sake, that she didn't need some old man showing up claiming to be her father. But the truth, I was afraid. Afraid she'd hate me for abandoning her mother. Afraid your grandmother would leave me if she found out. Afraid you'd all see me for what I really was. A coward. Message 203. Your grandmother knows now. I finally told her last week. She's known something was eating at me for years, but she never pushed. When I finally said it out loud, all of it, she sat there in silence for what felt like forever. Then she asked me if I loved her, if our life together was real or if I was just running from something else. I told her the truth, that I did love her, deeply, but that I also lived with regret every single day, that I made choices that hurt people and I never faced them, that I was sorry for building our marriage on a foundation of half-truths. She cried, not because I loved someone before her, but because I never trusted her enough to share the burden. She said she would have understood, that we could have dealt with it together. Maybe she's right. Maybe I wasted 60 years carrying shame that could have been shared. Message 281. I reached out to Emma, through a lawyer,
anonymously. Told her about Catherine and me. Told her I was her biological father and that I was dying. Told her she didn't owe me anything, but that I wanted her to know the truth. She wrote back. Met me at a coffee shop 2 weeks ago. Your grandmother came with me. Emma looked at me with those eyes, my eyes, and asked why I waited so long. Why I let her mother struggle alone. Why I didn't fight for them. I didn't have a good answer. I told her I was young and scared and selfish. That I made an unforgivable choice and spent the rest of my life paying for it. I told her I didn't expect forgiveness, but that I wanted her to know her mother was an extraordinary woman who deserved so much better than what I gave her. She said she'd known for years. Catherine told her on her deathbed who I was. Emma had been angry for a long time, but she'd also made peace with it, built her own life. She said she didn't need me to be her father, but she was glad to finally meet me, to put a face to the ghost. We talk now, once a week. She's kind, kinder than I deserve. Message 365. The last one. If you're hearing this, I'm gone now, and I want you to know that I'm at peace. Not because everything worked out, but because I finally stopped running. I spent most of my life afraid of the truth, afraid of being seen as flawed or weak or unworthy of love. But here's what I learned too late. Everyone is flawed. Everyone makes mistakes. The people who love you don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be honest. Your grandmother stayed with me. Emma gave me grace I didn't earn. And you listened to all of these messages, even though some of them probably hurt to hear. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to make my mistakes. When you love someone, fight for them. When you hurt someone, own it. When you're afraid, talk about it. Don't hide pieces of yourself thinking it'll protect you. It won't. It'll just make you lonely. And if you ever find yourself at a crossroads like I did, choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Choose truth over comfort. Choose love over fear. I'm proud of the man you're becoming. I'm sorry I won't be there to see where you go. But I hope these messages give you something real. Something that helps you understand that being human means being messy and imperfect and sometimes getting it wrong. I love you, kiddo. More than I ever knew how to say when I was alive. Don't waste your time on regret. Make your mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Goodbye.
Be honest. If you were in his place, would you still trust love after that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know what you do. And if this story hit you even a little, don't just scroll. Hit that like button and subscribe, because every story here isn't just a story. It's a reflection of someone's truth, maybe even yours.